Good afternoon. We'll now start. First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody to this pep talk this afternoon. Please mute yourself, but always show your video picture. Sign in your name, your Facebook account, or email address in the chat box. Please include the names of companions attending with you. Use the chat box to ask questions and make comments while the pep talk is on. There will be group pictures at the start and end, and also at the end of the pep talk. So please show your faces in the video. A reminder is to take the online learning evaluation test exercise for mastery of learning and have a perfect score to get a certificate like the one shown here. I have placed the link in the chat box. Another reminder, obtaining 25 OLETE certificates will entitle one mentee to a free voucher for a RO Hoson medical consultation, either face-to-face or telemedical. Feedback to this pep talk. A request is for you to type in your feedback in the chat box during the open forum and before we adjourn. Let's now have a group picture taking before we start the pep talk proper in 2 minutes. Please turn on your video now. Show your faces. Okay, ready? One, two, three. Wait. I have a patient empowerment program in which I like to empower the lay people or patients to take control in the management of their health. I started the pep talk on May 15, 2021 during the COVID-19 pandemic. There are 3 courses in the pep talk. I completed the core course on October 9, 2021. And then from October 23, 2021 onwards, I've been tackling health disorder and health issue courses. So May 18, 2024 marks the start of year number 4 for the RO Hoson Pep Talk. How long the pep talk will last will depend on the enthusiasm, discipline, and perseverance of everybody, you and me. My pep talk today is entitled Patient Story. TLT means tell, learn, and teach. This screening ultrasound, suspicious for breast cancer, what to do. So the empowerment objective is for the lay people to have an essential understanding on what to do when the screening ultrasound shows suspicious for breast cancer as part of their health management. This is based on the patient's story. Hi, Dr. Ray. I have BIRADS 4B mass left breast. What should I do next? Frequently, I get this note from patients consulting. So what should I do next? Hence, this pep talk. This is a quite common concern in the Philippines as well as abroad. The contents of this pep talk will be the following. I'm going to tell a story about screening ultrasound, suspicious for breast cancer, what to do, and then I'll try to share with you some experiences or some pointers on what to learn and what to teach you. So the topics, the various subtopics will be the following. What is a BIRADS? What is a BIRADS for? So these are common terms that you usually see on ultrasound, mammo, and MRI. No? BIRADS. No? How does RO Hoson manage a patient with a BIRADS 4? And some takeaways from the patient's story. Disclaimer, this pep talk contains my thoughts, perceptions, opinions, and recommendations, or TPORs, culled from the experiences of myself and the writings of others health professionals. So here is the patient's story. So on March 2025, RDLC, a 54-year-old female, has been my patient 18 years now as of 2025 and has been under my medical supervision since 2007. At that time, she was age 36 only. So she's now 54 years old this year. First consult with me was in 2007, in which my diagnosis was fibrocystic changes, or the same concept as hormonal changes, so it's normal breast findings. So she had an ultrasound which showed bilateral breast cysts in 2007. So this is one of my bases why I gave the diagnosis of fibrocystic changes, because she had, aside from the palpation findings, she had an ultrasound which showed bilateral breast cysts. Okay. So as I repeat, fibrocystic changes are essentially the same as hormonal changes. So strictly speaking, we call that as a normal breast findings also. It's not a disease. So this is the records in 2007. We still have it. No? So year noted September, okay, 2007. No dominant mass, walang bukol. So my diagnosis was fibrocystic breast condition or fibrocystic changes, pareho lang yon. Then I advise continue to monitor and have a checkup with me. So monitoring would include breast self-examination and a clinical breast, breast examination. When you say clinical, it's to be done by a breast specialist like me. Okay. So this was the ultrasound report in 2007. Okay. So in the right breast, two cysts are seen in 1 and 3 o'clock positions, measuring 0.6 and 0.5 centimeters respectively. Then a 0.5, 0.05 centimeter cyst is also present in the 12 o'clock position up on the left breast. So that's why the impression of the radiologist or ultrasonographer was bilateral, meaning right and left, small breast cyst. Okay. So when you say cyst, 99.9%, it's not cancer. It's part of your hormonal changes, which we called fibrocystic changes. So she would consult me for a breast check every now and then for the past 18 years, from 2007 to 2025 this year. And every time I saw her, my diagnosis had always been fibrocystic changes. She would She usually would have yearly ultrasound of the breast done as part of her company's medical benefits. The ultrasound reports have consistently been BI-RADS 2 or 3, but never BI-RADS 4 until February of this year, 2025. During the COVID-19 pandemic, specifically in 2021, she would continue to consult me through telemedical consultation. And my diagnosis has always been fibrocystic changes. I would explain my findings to her, and I would give her my diagnosis of fibrocystic changes. So this is an illustration of the explanation that I gave during the telemedical consultation. No breast, no dominant masses. So a null sign, meaning no, none, non-existent. So no dominant mass. So diagnosis is fibrocystic changes. So when you say dominant mass, it's something that stands out, okay, and usually palpable, okay, using the flats of the fingers. So if there is a dominant mass, a real mass is present, and then it constitutes a red flag. A red flag means it's alarming. It could be cancer or not cancer. Further investigations have to be done. If it's cystic, it's usually not cancer, okay? So if there are signals for cancer, like it's a solid, fixed mass and hard mass, and then there are lymph nodes, then we suspect cancer. But in her case, there's no dominant mass, so nothing to talk about this. There's nothing to consider a red flag. So my diagnosis is fibrocystic changes. On February 2025 this year, on her annual company physical exam and ultrasound of the breast, a BI-RADS 4B was given by the ultrasonographer. When you say 4B, it stands for moderate suspicion for cancer or malignant findings. 4A means mild suspicion, but 4B is a higher one, moderate suspicion for cancer, for breast cancer. So because of this, she got alarmed and sought immediate consultation with me. So here is the report given to her. Okay. BI-RADS 4B, which stands for moderate suspicion for cancer or malignant changes. Okay. So on the basis of the findings by the ultrasonographer of a sub-centimeter, meaning less than 1 centimeter, irregular isoechoic solid mass with indistinct margins, okay, at 3 o'clock position in the right breast. So because of these findings by the ultrasonographer, he or she labeled it, make a conclusion that it could be moderate suspicion for cancer. So the recommendation was to do a digital mammo and then an ultrasound guided needle biopsy, core needle biopsy is also recommended. When I saw the ultrasound report, I meticulously palpated her breast again. I was not able to feel any dominant mass. I told her my diagnosis was still fibrocystic changes based on my palpation. However, I told her there was a need to investigate further because of a report of BI-RADS 4B on the ultrasound. There was a need to check if the BI-RADS 4B was indeed correct. I advised her to have a repeat ultrasound of the breast in another institution without divulging the February 22, 2025 BI-RADS 4B report. So she did as I advised her, and the repeat ultrasound in March 10, okay, so February 22, March 10, it's about 2 weeks after, okay, showed BI-RADS 2. Here it is. So the repeat ultrasound showed simple breast cyst. As I said, when you talk about cyst, it's benign. Okay. So they just saw a cyst. So that's why the conclusion is category 2. Okay. Category 2 means benign findings. Okay. I reviewed all her previous ultrasounds of the breast. In 2022, there was a BI-RADS reading of 2, and then 2024, BI-RADS 1, negative findings. And then, of course, in February this year, BI-RADS 4, and then the repeat one, March 10, 2025, BI-RADS 2. So my advice to the patient after the March 10, 2025 BI-RADS 2 report were the following. So I told her, I reviewed all your ultrasound reports, records. Hakuna Matata. Just do at least a meticulous monthly breast self-exam and a repeat ultrasound of the breast at Cavite East Medical Center. This is where she got the repeat ultrasound. So just have a repeat if there is no unusual findings on breast self-examination. But if there is, have it checked by me right away, and we may have to do an ultrasound earlier. Okay. Okay. And then have also a face-to-face medical consultation with me after 3 months. So I advise her to repeat ultrasound after 3 months. If there's nothing unusual found on breast self-examination. So end of the telling of the story, of the patient's story. Now let's go to learn and teach. So what is BIRADS? BIRADS stands for Breast Imaging Reporting and Data System. So by B, breast, I, imaging, R, reporting, A, and D, A, and system for S, BIRADS. That's why it's called BIRADS, okay? So what is a BIRADS? A BIRADS is just a standardized risk assessment terminology system being used by radiologists for breast cancer. So the B here stands for the breast. There are also the so-called TIRADS, with a T standing for T, for thyroid. No? Papalitan lang yung B, magiging, kung nilagay T, this is used for thyroid naman. Okay? So they came out, the mga radiologists, they come out with baka naguguluhan sila sa mga non-standardization of terminology. That's why they thought of coming out with a uh, more uniform way of reporting. Okay? So they call it BIRADS, TIRADS. Probably baka in the future there could be AIDS, mga ano pa, mga ibang TIRADS o BIRADS ganon, no? In other organs. So in the BIRADS, there is a numerical scoring of 0 to 6. So you have BIRADS 0, BIRADS 1, BIRADS 2, up to 6. And BIRADS can be used for ultrasound, mammography, and MRI of the breast by the radiologists. So yung BIRADS reporting comes from the radiologists, not from the surgeon, not from the clinicians. No? So it's being reported after when you have an ultrasound of the breast, mammography or X-ray of the breast, and then MRI, magnetic resonance imaging of the breast. Okay. In a way, BIRAD summarizes the descriptive findings on breast imaging in terms of a score that represents a specific diagnostic meaning. So let me expound on this. When I say summarizes the descriptive findings, okay, here, so usually the radiologist starts with a description of the findings. Sabihin nila, no distinct focal mass lesion or abnormality seen on the left breast. The inflammatory ducts are not dilated, and so forth and so forth. Okay, may description lang, narrative. No? And then here, down below, they would end up with two kinds of conclusion or diagnosis. So diagnosis can also in terms of a statement. So ang impression dito would be simple breast cyst kasi ito yung nakita dito, point ano, no? 0.42 anechoic focus. So the impression is a simple breast cyst sa right, okay? And then they add another conclusion in terms of BIRADS. Okay. So ito yung BIRADS. Okay. So in general, when we have a report from the ultrasound, meron siyang descriptive findings. Ito dapat meron, no? Okay. And then dapat meron din dito. And most of the time nowadays, they put the diagnosis in terms of BIRADS. Okay. So sinasummarize lang itong BIRADS, yung mga statement above, no? Okay. So ito, pag sinabing ultrasound, BIRADS category 2, this is the diagnostic score. Ito naman, this is also a diagnosis, simple breast cyst. No? Okay. So diagnosis in terms of statement. Okay. Kung wala itong BIRADS, if you just look at this description, you can say that it's benign. No? So right away, the clinician will say it's benign. No? So ano yung BIRADS again? So as I said, may numerical scoring 0 to 6. Yung when they put BIRADS 0, it just means it needs additional evaluation, additional test. So sabihin nila, kung ultrasound lang ginawa, baka kung BIRADS 0, they need additional exam like mammography. Or mammography lang, lang, and then they put a BI-RADS 0, that means they need an ultrasound to be done. Okay? So BI-RADS 1 stands for normal findings, walang nakita kahit na anong abnormality, anong, let's say, even cyst, walang nakita, no? Now, BI-RADS 2, meron nakita, like the cyst, sabihin nila benign, no? Okay. Then BI-RADS 3, they will say, they can say probably benign lesions. May nakita sila, pero sa itsura, mukhang benign naman. Now, BI-RADS 4, merong suspicion na possible malignancy. Okay, low risk lang. Okay, then they further classify this into 4A, B, C. Okay, so 4A means low suspicion, 4B, moderate suspicion, then 4C, high suspicion. And then, kung nilagay nila BI-RADS 5, there's a high risk for malignancy, or they call it highly suggestive for malignancy. And number 6, meron ng biopsy na ginawa, may proven cancer na, at nagpa-ultrasound, nagpa-mammo, so they just put a BI-RADS 6 na. So they just follow the biopsy results. No? So here in this column, you can see that ano yung connotations of all these BI-RADS 1 to at least uh, 2, 3 to 5. Kasi yung 1, kung normal findings, you're not talking about possible malignancy, di ba? Okay, benign naman, 0. But pag BI-RADS 3, may less than 2% chance na baka cancer. And then kung BI-RADS 4A, 2 to 10%. And then 4B, 10 to 50% chance of being cancer. And then 4C, 50 to 95. So kaya pag mas mataas yung numerical scoring dito, yung alphabet nito, 4C, mas mataas, 50 to 95%. Then kung high risk naman, greater than 95%. Okay? Kung may biopsy na, wala nang usapan. Talagang malignant na. No? Okay. Pag walang biopsy, so it can range from less than 2% dito sa low risk, less 2% to 95%. Malaking range. No? So this is another way of showing the BI-RADS scoring, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No? So BI-RADS 0 incomplete, and then dito sa 5, highly suggestive, great, more than 95% degree or chances of likelihood of cancer. The BI-RADS scoring can be considered as a diagnosis. As I said kanina, merong descriptive diagnosis, and then it's also another uh, another diagnosis using the scoring. No? Pero, ang diagnosis lang nito will be limited to BI-RADS 1 to 5 lang. No? So, because BI-RADS 1 will tell you, when you say BI-RADS 1, it's negative, walang nakita. No? So, normal. Then BI-RADS 2, benign. BI-RADS 3, probably benign. BI-RADS 4, suspicious for malignancy. Highly suggestive for malignancy for BI-RADS 4. Yung BI-RADS 0, as I said kanina, pag sinabing BI-RADS 0, it's not a diagnosis. So it means additional tests are needed. So wala pang conclusion. Now, BI-RADS 6 naman, it's not really a diagnosis from the ultrasonographer. It just derived from may ginawa na kasing biopsy. May additional data na. Okay. So 0 and 6 are not part of the diagnosis of the BI-RADS. Yung 1 to 5 lang. So there are set criteria for making a BI-RADS scoring. So I won't go into details here, medyo technical ito. So meron silang criteria that they use, mga radiologists, to say when do you call it number 3, BI-RADS 3, when do you call it low risk, high risk, okay, moderate risk, or high suspicion, ganon. But the question is how accurate and reliable are these criteria? Yan ang tanong. No? As different ultrasonographers, based on my experience and also experience of other clinicians, the different sonographers have different interpretations and scoring, even for the same patient. As seen in this particular patient, as in and also in other patients. No? So again, when you say BIRADS 4, let's now focus on BIRADS 4. BIRADS 4 means there is a suspicion for breast cancer. And it can be further categorized into 4A, B, and C. 4A means low suspicion, moderate suspicion, high suspicion. Again, what are the criteria na ginagamit ito? Meron silang criteria to say that's 4A, 4B, 4C. But the question again, ano yung mga criteria that they use? Are they really accurate and reliable? As these criteria are different from one ultrasonographers to another. Now, how does RO Hoson manage a patient with BIRADS 4? As I said, it can be 4A, 4B, 4C. Once there is a report of BIRADS 4, even without a further categorization of 4A, B, and C, because sometimes 4 lang ang report. Kumisan, merong naka-specified 4A, 4B, or 4C. So once you have such a report, automatically or naturally, it will trigger fear and anxiety on the part of the patient and also a sympathetic physicians. No? Kasi meron ng suspicion, kahit na anong degree, nakakatakot na yan, suspicion for cancer. No? Okay. Pag sinabi niyang no suspicion, mas malamang hindi siya cancer, mas maganda yung pakinggan, di ba? But the moment you have BIRADS 4, so it connotes there is a suspicion for cancer, matatakot na yung pasyente, na? Or even a doctor who sees the patient, ay nako, we have to, parang red flag nito, we have to do something about it. So before I allay the fear and anxiety of the patient with the BIRADS 4 report, I will do meticulous physical examination of the breast to see if I can feel a dominant mass on the breast, as well as in the armpit. Yung complete na focused breast examination by a clinician, meaning we usually examine the entire breast and also the armpit, the axilla. So this is the first thing that I will do. Hindi ko muna outright tatanggapin yung report as is. Examinin ko muna yung pasyente ulit, no? And see kung magtutugma doon sa findings ko with the ultrasound findings. I will not outrightly accept the BIRADS 4 conclusion and follow the recommendations of the radiologists like this. So ito yung recommendation of radiologists for this particular patient, mammo, and then ultrasound-guided needle core biopsy. If there is a palpable mass and there are physical signs suggestive of cancer, like ill-defined border, hard, solid, fixed, positive axillary lymph nodes, then I will accept the BIRADS 4. Okay. Kasi nagtutugma, no? So kung may bukol, may nakakapako, then may BIRADS 4, and then that bukol is may mga signs or clues for cancer, tatanggapin ko na. Okay? Now, if there is a palpable mass and there are physical signs suggestive of not cancer, let's say kung may nakalagay doon cystic nature pagkatapos sinabi ng report, a BIRADS 4, medyo I will put it on hold muna. No? Hindi ko muna tatanggapin outright. So I will decide on what to do next. Either watchful waiting, monitoring, or do a needle aspiration kasi may nakakapangbukol, pwedeng aspirate. So without biopsy, or I can do a repeat ultrasound and other maneuvers and other options. No? Again, if merong bukol, pero yung kapako mukhang di mang cancer, then I'll just put on hold yung BIRADS 4, hindi ko muna tatanggapin outright. Then I'll do additional maneuvers, options like observe, do needle aspiration, repeat the ultrasound. But if there is no palpable mass, dominant mass, just like in this particular patient, I would usually recommend a repeat ultrasound of the breast and to be done in another institution. for a second opinion. There's such thing as second opinion by the actual doctors, mga doctors, clinicians, and also second opinions on lab exams, on ultrasounds, on MRI. Pag pinarepeat mo, parang second opinion na rin yun. No? So kung walang bukol, no, pinaparepeat ko yung ultrasound. Another decision has to be made depending on the results of the repeat ultrasound. So pag dumating na yung repeat ultrasound, I will make a decision based on ano yung findings. If the repeat ultrasound shows the same BI-RADS 4 report, then most likely I will accept yung BI-RADS 4. If the repeat ultrasound shows BI-RADS 3 or 2, naging from 4, naging 3 or 2, then the initial BI-RADS 4 will be placed on hold. Hindi ko man natatanggapin, no? Nasa tabi lang siya, and the patient is managed as benign, probably benign or negative findings, depending on the situation and findings on and reevaluations. Then after that, if I adapt this one, put it on hold, I will advise the patient to have regular and close observation and monitoring. So this summarizes what happened to this patient on this in this story. So may BI-RADS 4B, walang bukol, repeat ultrasound showed BI-RADS 2. So I didn't manage this patient as a BI-RADS 4. Okay, so patient was managed for close observation. Now, if the repeat ultrasound shows a BI-RADS 3 or 2 report, then outrightly, I would say that I have allayed the fear and anxiety of the patient. Kasi yan ang unang reactions ng mga pasyente pag merong BI-RADS 4, which we have to allay as part of our duty as doctors. No? Okay. So, pag narinig na BI-RADS 3, BI-RADS 2, automatically, medyo relief na siya. No? And what more, she's going to get a relief if she doesn't have to undergo mammography and ultrasound guided as recommended by these radiologists. Okay. So kung ginawa ito, then the patient will undergo all those procedures. Pero kung hindi, no, because of my decision making here, I would say that I have saved this patient from these procedures. Some takeaways from the patient's story. Having a BI-RADS 4 automatically or naturally causes fear and anxiety to a patient who has this report. So nobody will argue with this. The patient should see a breast specialist right away for a meticulous breast clinical examination and recommendations on what to do next. So sinong breast specialist? This is a breast surgeon, general surgeon who sees a lot of patients with the breast concerns. Okay, tandaan ninyo, no? Breast surgeons, not an OBGYN, not a medical oncologist, but a general surgeon, no? Okay. The BI-RADS 4 report is not final yet. It may change. Okay. So, palaging yan ang iisipin nyo. It may change, no? Basta walang bukol nakakapa. Okay. Let the breast specialist help in the problem solving and decision making. Do not just follow what are stated in the recommendations of the radiologist in the ultrasound report. Kadalasan kasi pag nakita niyo yung report, as a patient, nabasa ninyo, susundan ninyo, kay ibang doktor sabihan, ganun din, susundin, no? Okay. So, it's better that you ask a breast specialist what needs to be done next, okay? Rather than just follow kung anong nakalagay dun sa report, no? Remember that all tests, including the breast ultrasounds, lahat ng tests, ha? Any kinds of tests, laboratory, yung mga blood chem, no? X-rays, no? Are not 100% perfect and accurate all the time. There may be errors. Sigurado may errors din yan, no? Okay. There may be different interpretation of the breast ultrasound findings by another radiologist or ultrasonographer. So this commonly happens, no? So, in 2012, I started a registry of patients saved from unnecessary breast surgery. This is published in my website. I have collected and documented more than 45 cases. Yung naka-documented lang. I think, honestly, it could be more. No, hindi ko lang na-document. It could be 100 cases, probably. No? Majority of the patients included in the registry are those with BI-RADS 4 who, upon consultation with me, but with my approach of the management, particularly of repeating the ultrasound, this turned out to have no need for biopsy or operation, just observation. So this is what I meant by I save patients from unnecessary breast surgery in terms of biopsy and also operations. Kasi pag pumunta sa ibang doktor kadalasan, okay, who always believes on the radiologist, iba biopsy na kagad. No? I have stopped collecting and documenting these cases of Byret's 4 kasi marami na rin, di ko rin makip track now, which turned out to be a false alarm. No? However, up to the present time, there's still a lot of these cases in the community. 2015 na ngayon, this is just one reported cases. I have several, meron pa, but I cannot report everything. Okay? Pero marami dyan. So, takeaway here will be beware of these Byrod's 4 concerns and learn how to manage them. So if you have relatives, if you have Byrod's 4 concern, no, so know how to manage them by learning from my lecture. So summary and takeaway, I have presented a patient, tell you the story, and then I have given you advice on what to do when there is a BI-RADS 4. Okay, so and then I also explain what is a BI-RADS, what is a BI-RADS 4, and how I manage a patient with a BI-RADS 4, and gave you some takeaways from the patient's story. So takeaway in relation to patient management, be always in touch with reliable medical information on suspicious for breast cancer reporting on ultrasound, specifically on BI-RADS 4. Knowledge is power. It gives power. Use the 4Ks of patient empowerment, kaalaman, kakayanan, karapatan, and kapangyarihan to gain greater control over decisions and make better decisions on management of BI-RADS 4 reports as part of your health management. So with that, I end my pep talk. I hope I have empowered you to have an essential understanding on what to do when the screening ultrasound shows suspicious for breast cancer as part of your health management. So this is based on a patient's story. Now, before we go to the QA and interactions, reminder, please take the online Learning Com evaluation test exercise for mastery of learning and have a perfect score to get a certificate like this. I have placed the link in the chat box. And reminder again, a 25 OLETE certificates will entitle one mentee to a voucher for a RO host on medical consultation. And then please type in your feedback on the chat box during the open forum and before we adjourn. Let's now have a group picture taking before we start the QA and interactions. Please turn on your video now and show your beautiful faces. Okay, that's it. One. Okay. Wait. One. One, two, three. Okay. So the floor is now open for questions, comments, suggestions, free consults, short consult, sharing of experiences also. Okay. Anybody who has experience getting a BIRADS 4? Wala pa. Wala.
Ako po,
Ah,
Doc. Rochelle here.
okay. Si hindi ako pala, Rochelle. Sige.
Apo.
Would you like to share your experience? Actually, yung kinuwento ko sa iyo yun.
Oo nga po, Doc. So thank you for using my story na para po makapag-create ng awareness to everyone. Kasi
Ah,
ako po talaga yung tipo na nung nakuha ko yung 4B ko, talagang natakot ako, of course, na ninervous ako na baka nga ba, bakit nga ba siya may solid mass. Although I checked po my previous records kasi, Doc, it's always in the same position, yung 3 o'clock na yon. And then yung size po, kung nag-increase man siya, very minimal. So nagtaka lang ako this time, bakit siya naging solid mass? Before po ang impression kasi cyst lang eh. Ngayon solid mass. So right away po nakipag-ano ako sa inyo, nakipag-communicate ako sa inyo to schedule me. It just so happened nung time na nagpaano ako sa inyo, wala kayong bakante that week. So na-schedule po ako the following week pa. So yung parang yung waiting in vain the whole week or yung until po dumating yung time ng check-up ko, grabe. Yung pinagdadaanan ko. So
yeah, I can
yeah.
imagine that. Oo.
Opo, opo. So, yeah. So, thank you. I'm really thankful po dun sa naging resulta po ng second ultrasound ko.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
And thank you, Doc, for managing me well, really well. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's hope tama tayo.
Opo, opo. Doc, may question lang po ako. As
Okay.
the reliability of yung nung check, which one mas reliable yung is it ultrasound or mammogram? Or is it the
Uh,
same result?
but, okay, we have to define anong reliable no? Okay. So, basta number one, either mammography or ultrasound and other tests, there's no such thing as guarantee of 100% accuracy all the time, no? Okay. So, lahat, no? Now, kung in terms of differentiating yung dalawa, mammo and ultrasound, no? Yung sinasabi nila, yung mammo is being used to detect yung mga early breast cancer in terms of hindi pa nakakapa, no? Let's say yung mga they call it microcalcifications, no? Okay. So wala ka pang bukol na nakakapa, let's say 2 centimeters cannot, no? Less than 2 centimeters, 2 millimeters ganon, pwede, no? Makikita, no? Okay. So yung ultrasound naman, ang general recommendation is to use the mammoth if you want to catch it in the earliest stage ng breast cancer. No? Okay. Yung ultrasound naman, mas reliable yan kung may bukol na. No? Yung mga bukol, mas nakikita, no? Mas ma-define nila. No? This is comparing ultrasound and mammo. No? Okay. Pero when it comes to interpretation, nagva-vary kasi sa mga yung nagbabasa, no? So, yung nagbabasa, kung minsan isang tuldik, dalawang tuldik, sasabihin niya, ay maraming tuldik ito, no? Yung mga tinatawag microcalcifications, no? Kung di sila sigurado, sasabihin, ay baka, no? Yan yung mga virus nila, nakita mo, moderate, low degree, high degree, no? So, just reflect na mayroong mga subjectivity, no? Okay. Ganun din sa ultrasound, titingnan nila kung yung border well-defined, kung minsan merong gray zone, hindi masyadong well-defined, so sila, baka na naman, no? Okay. And then, meron silang ginagamit na yung mga findings na taller than wide o ganon. Yan. Okay. So it all depends, no? But sa akin, personally, I usually find it more useful, more practical to use ultrasound rather than mammo, no? Okay. From personal experience, no? Saka, at this time, current trend of practice, kasi pag nagpamamo ka, they usually don't commit to a diagnosis. Palagi nilalagay ng zero, no? So strictly speaking, dapat it can stand alone, yung mamo. So remember, one of my slides shows that meron siyang descriptive findings, no? Descriptive, no? Pag nilagay nung sa descriptive findings, no microcalcifications, outrightly, kasi dapat sabihin nila ang diagnosis nila is benign, no? Or negative, no? Okay. Pero palagi nila nilalagay na zero, that will ayaw nila mag-commit until you get an ultrasound. So pinapadagdag sa iyo ng another test. Kaya napapamahal, na? Okay. So whereas yung ultrasound naman, bihira ka makakita na after the ultrasound, sasabihin sa iyo, magpamamo ka, bihira. So they can make a decision already whether it's virus 0, virus 1, 2, 3, and 5, or even 6 kung may biopsy na siya, no? Ganon. So it all depends, no?
Okay, Doc.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Doc.
We can ask my son, Ray, Lance, anong input mo dito?
Yeah, operator dependent talaga yung ultrasound. Like one ultrasound may say one thing, the other ultrasound may say another. Kaya kung possible, maganda rin yan. Marunong ka rin mag-interpret ng ultrasound aside from the clinical findings. Pero yung mammogram in terms of more accurate, yung mammogram kasi mas yung microcalcifications nakikita yung earliest signs ng breast cancer. However, yung ultrasound, pag mas malaki na siya, mas nakikita siya ng ultrasound, mas nade-describe kasi niya yung characteristics ng bukol. Kaya mas useful yung ultrasound pag mas malaki na yung bukol.
Okay?
Thank you, Doc.
Oo. So marami dyan, kahit na kaya ako, kung minsan, pag di kailangan ng ultrasound, hindi ko na pinapagawa. Kapaan na lang, no? So I foresee that maraming lumalabas sa ultrasound eh. At marami ring may kanya-kanyang interpretations na which I don't agree, di ba? So kung minsan, kadalasan may false alarm, no? Pag
Yes, Doc.
may diagnosis na false alarm, mahirap na ano I mean, you have to pursue it already, no? So you really have to investigate. So that will be added anxiety and added cost, di ba?
Correct. Correct, Doc.
Oo.
In 2007 lang, Doc, if I may share, yun yung hindi ko makakalimutan na sinabi niyo sa akin. Sabi niyo sa akin, Rochelle, I only trust my hands. So mula nun po talagang hindi na ako nagpa-check to any breast specialist, but you lang po talaga. No?
Okay. Saka, okay, habang pwede pa. Pag tumanda na ako, baka hindi na sensitive ang aking kamay. Okay, any more? Thank you for that for that questions and sharing, Rochelle.
Thank you din po, Doc.
Hmm.
Doc, may I
Yeah,
ask something?
sure.
This is Susan. Yeah. Okay. Is it possible that kung natanggal na yung mass, yung breast, no? Magkaroon pa uli ng another mass later on?
Yeah, kahit na benign, kahit na cancer, pwede, na? But
Ayan.
pag kasi ang tanong mo kung natanggal na yung isang
Oo.
bukol at
Oo.
kung pwedeng umulit, na?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the answer is yes, no? Okay. Kaya kahit wag mong isipin na kasi baka isipin mo kung are you talking about cancer? Kung cancer na tinanggal na, pwedeng umulit.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Ganon din sa benign, pwedeng umulit din, no? Kasi
Mm.
okay, remember that a lot of diseases, not only on the breast, but also sa thyroid, sa other parts of the body, yung mga bukol-bukol, no? We don't know exactly the cause, no? Kung bakit siya tumutubo, no? kahit na yung mga lipoma, yung mga taba dyan sa katawan natin, lipoma, hindi natin alam ang cause. So pag tinanggal natin, ang tanong, pwede pa bang umulit? Pwede.
Oo.
Kasi pag tinanggal natin, pag inopera natin isang bukol, ang tinatanggal lang na natin yung bukol. No? Hindi natin tinatanggal yung cause, yung dahilan. Diba? Kasi hindi natin alam hindi natin nakikita. So tinatanggal lang natin yung bukol with the hope that hindi na siya uulit. No? Yung cause na yun, baka hindi na. Pero andyan pa rin ang cause somewhere, we don't know. No? So, ganun din sa breast. So, let's say you have a benign fibroadenoma na hindi siya cancer. So, tinanggal mo, 1 year, so sometimes 1 year lang, minsan 10 years after, may uulit na naman. Okay? So, I don't know whether you have experienced this with some other of your friends, no? Bakit pa ulit-ulit yung bukol niya, no? Kahit na hindi siya cancer, no? Okay? So, pwede siyang umulit kasi hindi natin na natitreat yung cause kasi hindi natin alam Hindi alam ng mga doktor kung ano. Ang ginagawa lang ng operasyon, yung bukol lang tinatanggal, hindi yung cause, no? Ganun din sa breast cancer. So, we don't know the exact cause, no? Bakit nagkakaroon ng breast cancer. Okay? So, kung ang tinanggal mo na lang, let's say, you don't remove the entire breast, tinanggal mo lang yung one part of it, di ba? One part of it, no? Pero yung katabi noon, normal pa, di ba? Normal pa at the time of the operation. Pero pumasok yung cause, the cause is still there, hindi lang natin nakikita kung nasaan, no? So, pwedeng umulit dun sa tabi, no? Okay? So, kaya usually, pag tinanggal mo na lahat, less ang chance na uulit. Less. Kung sa breast, no? Okay. So, the answer to your question is pwedeng umulit. No? So, babantayan lang. Okay. That's why we also don't, you remember my lecture, we don't talk, strictly speaking, we don't talk about cure in cancer. Di ba? We always talk about remission. Remission. Na walang ebidensya na cancer, pero we don't guarantee na hindi siya uulit. Kahit na 10, 20 years, pwede pang umulit, no? Okay. Pero pag, let's say, more than 10 years ka na, malaking chance na hindi uulit. Malaking chance, no? But not 100%. So, pwede pa rin umulit after 20 years, no? Very small chance, no? Okay. Okay?
Doc, another thing, okay lang ba?
Sure.
Another thing. What is it that what is this that I read on Facebook, Google, na iba-ibang causes ng cancer? Are these hypothetical o accurate or something?
Yeah, pag yung mga naririnig yung mga causes,
Nababasa ako.
pag sinabi nilang hindi we don't know, tanggapin mo. Yan ang tama. Pero pag may sinabi sila na these are the causes na pag meron ka nito, sigurado kang ganon, chances are mali siya. No? Okay. Example, give me an example. Anong example?
Hindi. I read on minsan mga sa Facebook, sa mga YouTube.
Give me an example para
ma-amplify na. Ang mga causes daw is bukod sa stress, smoking, yung mga ganyan.
Okay. So yan, pero maraming hindi rin sure shot. It could be a factor, no? Pero hindi siya direct cause. Hindi siya direct cause, no? Even sa smoking nga, kaya nga may controversy di ba? Sa smoking. So yung sinasabi ng mga iba, kaya sila nag-smoke, marami din nag-smoke, kundi nagkaka-cancer, di ba?
Kaya nga
okay. Yung iba naman, kasi the reason why we're saying that you have a higher risk of getting lung cancer if you smoke.
Yeah.
Hindi 100%, na? Okay. Okay. So there could be pag may genetic, hindi lang smoke,
yung
cigarette,
genetic,
may genetic factor, maraming factor dyan di ba? So we don't know the exact
environment also.
Yeah. environment. Okay. So we just
Okay.
have to accept all these uncertainties and yung mga mysteries in life that we don't know. No? So just live on with what we have, and then what's more important is that you are doing the best out of your life.
Thank you.
Yung gratitude, journal. Gratitude
Yes.
journal.
I have a lot of entries in my gratitude journal.
Everyday ba?
Every-
Nag-entry ka? Everyday?
Ah, actually kuminsan ng mga 3 times a week ganyan na
Ah,
Kasi kuminsan naiipon eh. Yun lang the mere fact na you oh, ano ba to, you bump into a friend na you haven't met for a long time and then you learn something from that person, yung mga ganyan. It's already gratitude sa akin. Yan yung mga,
okay.
kasi kung minsan ang tingin natin sa gratitude, naku, may binigay na ganito, na hindi unexpected, yung mga ganyan. Hindi eh. Sa akin, like, if I wake up and see that my plants have flowered, may mga flowers yung plants ko na inaalagaan, sa akin, gratitude yun.
Okay.
Oo.
Okay. So, yung mga graces, ganon.
Yes,
Graces,
yes. Oh,
blessings,
sa
blessings, no?
oh,
Appreciations.
appreciation. Oh,
Oh,
that's right. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Okay. So, tinatanong
Thank
ko lang
you.
kasi I want to write, pero kaya lang, I don't have time to write everything daily.
Because you do a lot of things kasi eh. And you even have ano ba to? You go on missions
Ah,
out of the
yeah.
country,
Hindi,
out of no,
out
out
of
of
town,
town
out
rather.
of town lang naman.
Out
Okay.
of town. No? Oh my
Okay.
God. You
Once in a
you are
while lang
so
naman yun. Once in a while lang.
um, at
Okay.
saka oo.
Any
You have a
more?
lot to share with us.
Yeah. Any more, Susan?
No more, Doc. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Okay. Thank you for your questions and also your input. Any more questions from the group? Wala na? If not, we'll call it a day. It's 3 o'clock already pala. 3:02. Okay. So we'll call it a day. Wala nang last call for questions. Wala na? Okay. There are no more questions. We'll call it a day. We'll have the next one next week, next
Thank
Saturday.
you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
Thank you po,
you.
Dr. Ray. Happy
Thank
weekend.
you.
Happy
Happy
weekend
weekend. Thank
Thank you
also.
you.
so much, Doc.
Bye-bye.
Doc, bye-bye. Happy
Bye-bye.
weekend.
Bye.